everybody, it's Kelsee Briana J, and today I'm overviewing some new goodies that just dropped from Patrick Ta. I have his new precision gel liner and I grabbed two of the shades. This eyeliner retails for $26. It is a retractable gel eyeliner and there are 4 different colors. I grabbed the black one and the cream one. Next we have the Major Dimension eyeshadow palette, and this is the first eyeshadow palette from Patrick Ta. This palette retails for $68 and it has 12 pans of products inside of it. There are 2 creams and there are 10 powder eyeshadows. This eyeshadow palette is described as a versatile eyeshadow palette that contains 2 luminous cream bases, velvety matte and iridescent metallic eyeshadows, and glistening pearl toppers. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into it because I know so many of you all are so hyped for this launch. I've gotten so many messages about it. You all have been commenting about it, and I'm excited to share my 3 looks that I created. So I'm going to do one on one eye, one on the other eye, and then for the third eye look, I'll show you all how to do this look that you see right now. And I hope that you all enjoy this video. So let's get into this first look. I like this one. Let's start off with this shade right here. And I'm going to take that all on my lid and then blend it up towards the crease. That shade went on a little bit darker than I thought it was going to. I'm not mad. So now let's go here with the blending brush. And I'm going to dust this right in the crease area just to diffuse that cream shade. So back and forth. It's a really neutral light color, so on me it's not really going to show up too much in the crease going back and forth. It's just supposed to soften that other color that I kind of stopped right up underneath the brow bone, like that. I want to add a little bit more definition, so I'm going to take this shade right here and let's take that directly in the crease. Ooh, that was really pigmented, so you just need a little bit. And I'm just going to take it back and forth right here. Now I'm going to take a powder brush and I want this really pretty bronze shade. I'm going to lay that down on the lid. That base that we laid down is gripping onto this color really well. Next I'm going to go right here and pop that on the inner corner. I'm going to take this shade on my lower inner corner as well. And let's take this shade right here across the rest of the lower lash line and connect it to the top. I'm going to take the black eyeliner from Patrick Ta and take that right across the top, and then I'm just going to smudge it out a little bit. Did y'all see how that just glided on? No problem. Let me try to diffuse that a little bit. The look is done. The bronze beast, I'm here for it. It has a little bit of smoke to it, a little bit of shimmer to it. It's giving you a nice gradient, and I love it. Yes. Come on, look. Seductive, pretty. I like it. Ooh, there you go. Look 2. Let's start off here. Let's take the deeper cream. I'm gonna take that in a similar fashion to the way that I did the first one. Ooh, I like this shade. It's a little bit richer. It's like a coffee tone. I'm just gonna take that all on the lid and then blend it up. And I really like this brush for that. This one is a Moda Pro BMX 465. Now I'm just going to immediately go here. I'm just going to take it there. So I'm going to take that on the outer corner and create a little bit more intensity. So right on the outer corner on the lid, let's drive that color home and then bring it around into the crease. I'm going to take it here, a little warm tone towards the inner portion of the crease just to warm it up a little bit. Kind of continue it on and then bring it over. Now I want this shade with the flat shader, and I'm going to take that on the inner portion. Ooh, that is giving some intensity. So take that on the inner portion, and I'm going to make a faux cut crease. So kind of be sharp with my brush. I'm just placing that product right on the tip of my brush, and then being very intentional with where I place it, and then bring it over towards the lid. That's really pretty. And then I want this shade right here, right next to it, right there in the center of the lid. And then I'm just going to, again, make sure that it's fully opaque. I am going to go back in with this shade right here just to re-intensify and make sure that it's blended next to that other color. And then bring a little bit more in the crease to make sure that everything is properly blended. But honey, that's serving. Take this shade right here. Again, pop it on the inner corner on the lower lash line. Kind of take your time and press it in to make sure that it's as blingy as the top. In the center, let's take this shade. Pop that on. And then on the very outer portion of the lower lash line, let's go in with that deepest shade. Bring it around and make sure that it connects to the top. I called myself to be recording, but just in case, I popped a little bit of this cream eyeliner right on the waterline from Patrick Ta. Just add a little bit of brightness. Both of these looks are bronzy, but they're very different at the same time. This one has a little bit more champagne. This one has a little bit more classic bronze. This one is a little bit more poppy, more glittery, more dazzle. So I love them both. Let me go wash off my face and then we'll do look 3. So here's the third and final look that we're doing with this palette. So for the third and last look, I'm not going to take any of the creams. I already put on a little bit of eye primer and blended that out because I want this look to be a little bit lighter. So I'm going to start here with this shade in a blending brush and take that above my crease. This is going to be my first shade that I laid down, and it's going to be my transition shade. So I'm just going to take it back and forth. Next, I'm going to go here and take that color right up underneath the first one, directly in the crease, back and forth. Next, I'm going to take this shade with the flat shader brush, and I want that all on the lid. Oh, I love that color. So pretty. I'm going to take it on the outer corner too, bring it up towards the crease, and just basically fill the entire lid space with this shade. I am going to leave a little bit of space open right on the inner corner. For the inner corner, I'm going to take this bottom pearl shade, pop that right on the inner corner. Pretty. I'm going to pop that same shade down on the bottom. Y'all know the drill. Just continue it around. Let's go here. Let's take that right in the middle. And then to close this out, let's go here. Pop that on the lower outer corner and connect it to the top. And then spend a little bit of time and blend it over to fuse with the middle shade, so it's a seamless transition like that. So now I'm going to go back with the cream eyeliner and pop that in the waterline. Y'all, look at this look. Look at the look. It's looking right at you. I love it. Third and final look. So let's talk about everything, starting with the eyeliners. And I love this formulation. It is so smooth. It's so creamy. They are opaque, and I love the tones that he chose. I only grabbed 2. I grabbed the black one and the cream one, but now I want to go back and get the brown and the bronze one just because I love this formulation. It just glides on, and you don't have to do any tugging. You don't have to keep going over it. And this cream tone is the perfect neutral brightening nude tone that you put in your waterline when you want a little bit of a pop, because it's going to give you that, but it's not too stark. And then this black, I mean, what more can you ask for than a super opaque creamy black that doesn't transfer too much? Because I played with these a few times, and they're creamy when you first apply them, but then when you let them set, they don't move as much. So that's perfect for me and my watery waterline, because my eyes are very much so prone to watering up throughout the day, and certain formulations cannot withstand that. And I feel like these will stand the test of time because they glide on, they set down, and they stay put, and they have this really vivid intensity to them. So I really like these. Y'all, this eyeshadow palette is shining like the star it is. This is a winner. As much as everybody says, oh my gosh, I don't need any more neutrals, I'm good, I have all the neutrals I need. Honestly, I personally don't feel like that. A lot of the neutral palettes that we've had in our collection, that we've collected throughout the years, are warm tone neutral palettes, which are cool, but I'm looking for something that's a little bit more modernized. And a lot of the other neutral palettes have pink tones to them, or they're cool toned. There's not a lot of neutral tones, you know? And so Patrick Ta came through and gave the girls a neutral nude palette, and I am here for the executions. I have a few neutral eyeshadow palettes in my collection, but none that mix all of these different textures. That's gonna allow me to have the variety that I have with this palette, and so for that I'm happy to have this one in my collection, and I think it's beautiful. So a few people asked me to compare it to the Natasha Denona Bronze palette, and as you all can see, the Natasha Denona Bronze palette is much warmer in comparison to Patrick's palette, and you all can see that right off the bat. This looks way orangier, way more reddish in comparison to Patrick's, which leans a little bit more neutral. There is a warm tone in here, and there's a straight cool toned eyeshadow in here, but overall it's more neutral, and I feel like you can really see that difference visually by holding these palettes next to each other. Next, I have the Artist Couture Supreme Nudes eyeshadow palette, which I love a lot. But again, this one is leaning a little bit more warm in comparison to Patrick's palette, which again, you can see how much more neutral this one is compared to one that you would think would be a little bit more neutral, but it has a little bit more color here because we have greens, we have true golds in here, and with this one we have more flesh tones. You all can see these really aren't the same either. I have Natasha Denona's Biba palette, which I think is a more neutral eyeshadow palette as well, but this one leans a little bit more neutral cool with a little bit of warm tones in here, but overall I wouldn't say these eyeshadow palettes are similar, even though they're kind of playing into the same color family. Next, I pulled out the Viseart Neutral Mattes eyeshadow palette to compare, and I think that again they're in the same family, but they're not the same. I wouldn't even say there's a ton of similarity with the shades that were selected for Patrick's palette in comparison to the Viseart palette. So that just shows you that even though something's in the same family, there can be a lot of variation there even with the same type color story. I pulled out some Tom Ford quads, and y'all know how I feel about Tom Ford. Anytime I pull out Tom Ford to compare, then you're rolling with the big dogs. But I pulled out my new Dip eyeshadow quad, which is one of my favorites from Tom Ford, just to show you all the tones. And again, the Tom Ford Nude Dip quad, I think it's similar with the pearlescent shades, but I think my Tom Ford quad is a little bit more cool toned. And lastly, I have my Cocoa Mirage quad from Tom Ford, which I love as well. But again, I don't think that they are similar. I think the Cocoa Mirage quad is a little bit more neutral, and it's almost neutral cool in the way that it pulls. And Patrick's has a little bit more warmth to them, even though I wouldn't classify the eyeshadows overall as warm in this eyeshadow palette. Nonetheless, I think this palette is gorgeous, and I love the range of color here. So if you want to do a lighter eye look, you can go there. If you want to deepen it up, you can. And the implementation of creams, I feel, is genius. That's definitely a pro move, and not a lot of people understand the importance of layering. And if you want to get something super intense, you may want to go in with the cream first and then layer it with the powder, and you'll get a more vivid eye look versus just going in with the powder or just going straight on top of primer. Like you all saw how the intensity can change with the cream, so I love that. The only thing that I would change about the tones of the creams is that I would have gone in with a little bit lighter shade on the top. I would still keep the brown shade down here, but I may even deepen it a little bit more. And that way, if you have a lighter bone-like shade up top and a deeper, richer brown down bottom, you can either use either or to get whatever look you're looking for, or you can mix them together to get varied levels of brown. But that's just a minor change that I would implement. I enjoy both of these creams. I like that it has a window. That way it's not gonna dry out as fast, I hope. But these were really creamy, easy to blend out. They have a little bit of stickiness to it, which is great when you're using these topper shades up here, because some of these have really chunky glitter. And while this formulation of eyeshadow is not my absolute go-to, you know, I still enjoy it and I understand how to use it. I know some people may feel like these are a little bit chunkier and they may cause fallout, but honestly, the best way to use them is to use a flat shader brush and to apply a little bit more pressure when using them. That way it just blends it out, because your force is going to allow the pigmentation to lay flat. But if you just pick up what you're gonna pick up, like if you're using your finger and you're applying a little bit more pressure, then you'll get a really nice flat lay of color. If you pick up a little bit like this on your brush and it's kind of flaky on the brush, and then you swipe it a little bit with no elbow grease to it, it kind of flakes off and it creates fallout. Versus if you apply some pressure on your brush or use your finger and kind of dig in there and get it on there, and then when you put it on your lid, like put some pressure on there and swipe it to really lay that color down, you'll see a difference in the application. But I wanted to give you all that little tip if you've been struggling with eyeshadow formulations like this, because Natasha Denona has given us eyeshadow formulations like this, as well as Huda Beauty loves to give these type of eyeshadow formulations, the kind of chunkier ones. They're workable, you just have to know how to work it. I just felt like this entire eyeshadow palette was really easy to use, and that is what I love and look for when I'm updating my collection. Even though I have a lot of neutral palettes, I don't have one just like that one. Patrick killed it. He gave everything that you needed to do an entire eye look. There are multiple different looks that I could do. As you all can see, I did 3, but I can even do more. So I can't wait to read what you guys have to say down in the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. If you enjoy my content, make sure you ring that bell and become a Kel Belle. And I will check you all in my very next video, which will be super, super soon. Smooches. Bye.